All right, so what I'm doing today is I'm going to be changing out the filter for my Radium fuel filter. So pretty much because I have a front mount, I'm obviously going to take the charge pipe off. If you have a front mount, you're gonna, or I'm sorry, top mount, you're gonna obviously have to take that off. But pretty much what I did was I took off the vacuum line for my blow-off valve. Let's see if I can get it off. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, so let me see if I put this down. Trying to record and do this is not going to be easy, but pretty much I'm running speed density, so that's why I have this sensor taken off. Loosened up my, all right. So pretty much what I've done so far is loosen this Y. It's just a Y fitting that goes into both fuel rails. This side is going to be the inlet, which is coming from the fuel firewall. So I'm going to loosen this bracket so I can lift this guy out and then spin it with the wrench, because like I mentioned, it only has two sides and you're not going to be able to get it like a normal connector. So just remove this guy. Be careful not to drop that in there, because if you drop it, then you're going to be stuck. And I just keep my hand on there while I'm loosening it. That way I know it's completely loose. And then when I get a chance, I lift out the bracket with my finger over the hole like this, so that way that bolt doesn't fall in. Okay, now you get a better view. Flat side, so you're not going to be able to remove it like I said before with just straight up spinning it like this. But now that I've gotten it loose, now I can spin it, and I can feel there's some fuel coming out of it. So you're going to have fuel spilling a little bit out, but it's not like completely pressurized where it's just going to fly off. So okay, now that I got it loosened up, it's going to spin it. There's still fuel coming out, so you can try to catch as much fuel as you can. There's an O-ring in here, so be very careful when it comes to that. There's sort of a lot of fuel in here, so try to catch as much as you can. Mine is dripping a lot of fuel, so I'm going to just lay it on its side and let it drain out. And that's it right there. So I'll just drain that out like that. If I can be quick about it, I'll just drain that on the ground there. Grab some more. Grab some more rags. Sort of a lot of fuel in there. So pretty much this is what the fuel filter looks like. I believe it just pops off, and then I'm going to show the new one. All right, here's the part number. Here's the new fuel filter. And I think that's it. There's no O-ring or anything. So there is an O-ring that's on the green portion of it, so you're gonna have to be careful with that, not to destroy that filter or that O-ring. Here's the new fuel filter. So it goes in like so. Try to catch up all the fuel. And it doesn't look like to be spilling anymore, but pretty much that's where the fuel filter is at. See if it just pops off. And it does. So the fuel filter is saturated, right? They're different colors, but pretty much this guy is going to be able to catch all that stuff that's in there, all that bad stuff, like, you know, any kind of dirt or anything like that that comes in the fuel whenever you go to the gas station to fill up. So there you go, pops right on just like so. This O-ring, you do want to lubricate it. I'm just going to use a little bit of Vaseline though, because I've used that on my O-rings for my fuel filter or fuel injectors, and it worked just fine. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. All right, just a little bit of Vaseline, not a whole lot. It's just enough to lubricate this O-ring right here. And like I said before, you want to be careful not to destroy it. Just a little bit. Like so. All right. Now I looked on YouTube for a bunch of these videos. I couldn't find one, so that's why I'm making this one, because nobody physically was replacing their filters. So I figured I'd come on here and help you guys. So I see a little bit of cross threading in here, I guess when they installed my, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue when I go to put it back on. But all right, so reverse installation. Put this guy back in like so. Make sure that it's not cross threaded so you don't destroy the threads on this guy. Okay, now tighten it up as best you can. Now I'm going to swap out the rags here because I can feel they're soaked in fuel. All right. Okay, then you take your wrench and tighten it back up. So I don't know about the loosening it. I don't know about the torque specs on this guy. There was not any information on as far as how many pounds or whatever. So on this one, I'm assuming you just tighten it as tight as it'll go, and then it's pretty much sealed. But don't tighten it too much, you're going to strip the damn thing, just enough. And I'm sure you'll feel it by hand how tight you're supposed to put it. So right there, I can feel this nice and tight. That's it for that part. I'm hoping this guy, just to show a close-up, because I can't put the camera in the engine bay, it's going to fall right over. So I pretty much tightened this guy back on. I don't care about how this looks scratched up. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Now, this part here, which I mentioned before is the Y part, this is going to go back on here. Hopefully it goes on smoothly, and then that's pretty much it. Main thing is you don't want it to be too tight, because whenever you put this guy back on, you're not going to really know how it's supposed to go back on, because you don't know how the angle is. So that's why I'm going to leave it loose. It's fine. And let's see, hopefully this guy goes back on smoothly. And of course I can't spin it because it's so freaking tight. Let's just hope it works out for me, that part. So luckily for me, it went on smoothly without freaking cross threading, thank God, because usually it goes on and it freaking cross threads because of how the angle is of this connector. So pretty much that's all you're doing is tightening back up. Now you're not going to put a ton of torque on this guy either, because it's not, it's I think what, 35 psi of pressure, so it's not going to blow it off. So right there, okay, nice and tighten. Now all that's left for me to do is tighten this bracket back on. I didn't remove the back part so it doesn't leak, so I don't have to worry about that. So I take this bracket here, all right, sit this bracket back on top like so. First off, let me make sure I put this on there smoothly and not carry the wrench in my hand, because I know I'm going to drop it. So you line up the hole in the front there to kind of give you an idea of where the back hole's at, because you can't really see it. And that's it. Not too tight, just tight enough. Grab your second bolt. Put that guy on there, tighten that guy. That's it. Okay, and that's on there nice and tight. This is on there nice and tight. The green is nice and sealed. There is no gap, so don't forget about that. So all that's left to do now is to replace my intercooler piping, put my IAT sensor back on, and then I will be doing my zip ties on my vacuum line. That's pretty much it. So hopefully this was helpful. Don't forget, when you put your fuel pump back in, you want to start the vehicle, make sure you have no fuel leaks. If you have no fuel leaks, you should be good to go. And hopefully this tutorial was helpful.